presidency of DAPEEP. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for for your presence today. The role of DAPEEP, the Renewable Energy Sources Operator and Guarantees of Origin, is very useful for wind farms. Your knowledge, experience, and passion for wind energy and renewable energy sources is very important. So we want to hear your thoughts and proposals on this topic. First of all, thank you. Thank you for the invitation to participate in this event. We should not forget, and we always need to repeat, that such initiatives and such debates and dialogue on such topics are always positive, always have something to contribute. And LTN has shown that it has an active role, or even a pioneer role, a leading role on all these topics. So we need to congratulate the LTN as a whole, but also the chairman, the president, my dear friend, Mr. Ladakakos. But we need to start with the current reality, with the topic on the news, and let me wish for peace to be restored in the area, in Ukraine. War, conflicts are always unpleasant, and all these pictures of war, no matter where they come from all over the world, are always unpleasant, even more so when they are close to our borders, and there is an impact on us as well. This is an experience that we have every day. This situation also affects the economic situation of the country, but also the household economy. When we see the energy cost, because the energy cost now is on the front line, on the top of the agenda concerning the news and difficulties faced by consumers, either household consumers or industrial consumers. So my point is that this whole situation, unfortunately, will not be uneventful. There is going to be an impact. The natural gas prices, also affected by this situation in Ukraine, will be affected because Russia is involved, who is the main supplier of natural gas for Europe. And definitely our country will also be affected. The truth is, and I have to state it, that this supply to our country is not so much, does not depend so much on Russia. Of course, Russia is involved, but we also have the alternative option of supplying our country with natural gas from the transatlantic pipe, TAP, which is a recent supply established in the last years, and also from Revithousa, because there is a liquefaction of natural gas, and then it is LNG supplied to the country. So this uppressed will have an impact on our country. Let's hope that it will have only a minimum impact, and let's wish and hope that it will end soon. This was an introduction which is linked to the LTN activity. So LTN, the scientific union, which is dealing with wind energy, the Hellenic Wind Energy Association, is the one that contributes greatly to the reduction, the lowering of the energy cost. So I will say here, by figures, numbers of DAPEEP, our company, that the annual production of energy from wind farms, so wind energy, came up to 9.7 terawatt hours, meaning that for a total number of 50, this accounts for 20% of the energy mix in the country and the energy needs of the country. And this came after the installed capacity of 4 gigawatt of wind farms in the country. Now, I will make a comment that may sound quite strong, because now a discussion, a debate is restarted by some people with the dilemma. They are raising the dilemma. Is it too early, perhaps, for delignitization, decarbonization? Is it too early, perhaps? Well, I will reply, no, it's not too early for decarbonization. It is quite late, actually, for decarbonization. And it is also quite late for installing more renewable energy sources in the country. Because if installation of renewable energy sources in the country had started 5 years earlier, then the current situation would be much better. It has been proven by the diagrams, the charts of EHE, and the pricing charts, the annual fluctuation of the energy price. So it is obvious from these charts that during the hours where there is renewable energy sources penetration, the price goes down. On the contrary, when there is lower penetration of renewable sources, and if we depend on natural gas, the price goes up. Therefore, to close this pseudo dilemma, which is raised by some people on whether it is too early or too late for decarbonization, the answer is no. No, it's not too early. It is we are exactly on time for decarbonization. But installation of renewable energy sources came quite late. And of course, the spearhead of renewable energy sources is wind energy, because wind energy has mass production. Wind energy is the renewable source that provides the amounts, the quantities of energy needed in the country. And what we all need to do is to help both the state and the entities and the market have to do their part so that we can go faster and so that we can coordinate better the installation of more renewable energy sources units, and especially, particularly, wind farms. There is a coordinated effort by the government to fast-track and simplify licenses in order for the right conditions to be put in place and the renewable energy sources to go forward in the country. And now to come to the next point on this subject, contribution of wind energy. The contribution of wind energy is a given fact nowadays, and it is self-evident. And I wish to point out here that wind energy, as a part of the renewable energy sources, needs to coexist with social acceptance of the renewable energy sources, and major steps are needed there in order to combat ignorance and misleading information, and in order to terminate such extreme voices that blame the renewable energy sources, because those who blame the renewable energy sources are actually turning against the environment. we know the facts. We know the contribution of energy from renewable sources to a clean environment. And speaking of the environment, and since we are talking about this topic, let me say that by circular economy, the environment and circular economy are associated concepts, interrelated concepts that go towards the future hand by hand. And circular economy, in order to also integrate today's topic, is about recycling for the future, recycling of wind turbines, especially blades, as mentioned before. This is a perspective, it has to do with how we perceive reality. And I have to stress here that science and the renewable energy sources people aim at a better environment. Circular economy also aims at a cleaner environment, and these all are interrelated. And the construction